Time to wake up. It's Saturday morning. Find some milk and cereal. Grab a bowl and spoon. No, a bigger spoon. Head to the living room and take a seat on the floor while Joseph and Chris present to you Saturday Morning Cartoon!
Hello everybody, welcome to Saturday Morning Cartoon Boom! This is your wake up with the Saturday morning sun, popped on the floor with a big bowl of sugary cereal, and watch all your favorite cartoons, both old and new. I'm Joseph.
And I'm Chris. And there's been a crime, Joseph. A crime has been committed.
Uh-oh.
I think somebody has placed a hit on our podcast because someone infected me both with a cold and with the stomach flu all in one day, and that is garbage.
Oh.
It had to have been deliberate. They're trying to sabotage the podcast.
You know what's funny and frightening is last week, the same thing happened to me. Not the flu, but the stomach bug.
Yes.
Like, I was out of commission for at least a day and a half.
I have gone through 3 rolls of toilet paper in 24 hours. 3 rolls.
Dang.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, it wasn't that bad for me, but
yeah,
I felt pretty bad.
Yeah.
Pretty sick.
Feels bad.
So I can only assume someone infected us.
Yeah, it definitely feels so. Someone's sabotaging us. And I think, I really don't want to start any controversy, but I think it's Papa John, because not long before I got sick, we were going to order some pizza. And Rochelle was like, "Oh, what about Papa John's?" And I said no. And he said that the day of reckoning was coming. And I think he meant me. So
never cross Papa John.
I think Papa John did it.
I think it's anyone giving us anything but 5-star ratings on iTunes. I think that's what it was.
You gotta say,
honestly.
Yeah. You make me sick.
5 stars or it makes us sick.
Yeah.
Not even just figuratively.
If you haven't yet, give us 5-star reviews to heal me, please.
Yeah. They give Chris his energy. And or send toilet paper. If you're going to give less than 5 stars, send toilet paper.
Yeah, that adds up real quick, man. Real quick.
Oh, yeah. And this morning we watched Level E. This
was suggested by Toshen Ranma. It's hard for me to say, especially with a cold.
Toshen Ranma.
But yeah, it's an anime that I had never heard of before. How about you?
Never heard of it. Even going into it, didn't know what to expect because I didn't read up on it or anything.
Yeah.
All I knew was aliens, but what we got, I wasn't ready for. Nor was I expecting at all.
Yeah, same. Very much in the same boat here.
So the show Level E aired in 2011. This was based on a manga originally created by Yoshihiro Togashi, directed by Toshiyuki Kato, produced by Piero and David Production. Just David Production. Not even David's Production, just David. That's his last name is Production. I'm just David Production. How's it going?
Hey, David Production.
This ran for 1 season, 13 episodes on TV Tokyo originally and Funimation Channel in the US. For a short synopsis, actually this is kind of a longer synopsis, but
okay.
I'll get there. In the present day, hundreds of extraterrestrial species walk the earth. Some are pacifist, others violent. Some are here for research purposes. Others are career criminals. However, humans don't know they are here. Now, one more alien has arrived on Earth, one of the universe's foremost geniuses with a personality that's bound to attract all sorts of trouble.
Oh, man. Yeah, half of that's...
Ain't that the truth?
Half of that is said in the show, like every episode.
Yeah.
Like that first half. By that announcer who I would listen to go to sleep at night because his voice is magic.
Oh, so you watched the dubbed version as well?
Yeah. So I went for the dub.
It's all I could find, so I was forced to this time. And it was okay. Like, I didn't mind the dubbing of it.
Yeah, I used Funimation's website, and like anything I got on there, it looked like it was dub. So
okay, because I think it's the only way really to watch it right now. If you don't have the DVD set, which I don't, you can either watch it really cropped on YouTube with kind of an arrow, the show arrow border around it, where it's like a tiny box within that.
Yeah.
Or you can just get a free trial to Funimation and watch it there. So
yeah, exactly.
I would recommend that version if you have to choose. So who are some of the actors who played in the show?
All right. So the character of Yuki. Oh man, saying these names is gonna be so much fun right now with this cold. This is so the character of Yuki Taka. Did I say that right? Yeah, I did. Okay. So the character of Yuki Taka was voiced in Japan by Yoshimasa Hosoya, and in the United States by Micah Solisad. Prince Baka, voiced by Daisuke Namikawa, and Vic Mignogna. Oh God, that's the American one, and I can't even say it. Vic Mignogna? I don't know. Character of Miho is voiced by Satomi Akisaka and Lindsay Seidel. Character of Kraft, voiced by Takehito Koyasu and Jason Douglas. Sado, voiced by Masaya Takatsuka and Jared Green. And Colon, yeah, I'm not pronouncing that wrong. It's like spelled Colin, but in the show they do pronounce it colon. So he's the butt of jokes. Get it? No, he's actually smart and never a butt of any jokes. But he was voiced by Takumi Asahina and Ian Sinclair. So that's our main cast.
So for a few tasty marshmallows out of our big bowl of Level E cereal, creator Yoshihiro Togashi is best known for his other short shonen series, Yu Yu Hakusho and Hunter. I don't know, is it Hunter x Hunter or just Hunter Hunter?
I think it's Hunter x Hunter. I don't know, actually. But I've definitely heard of both of those, and those are pretty famous ones, so that's interesting.
It was originally titled Alien Crises, but he changed it after renting a videotape called Level 4, and he wanted to use the first English language letter of the word alien. He was told that the first letter was A, not E in alien, but he replied that he always associated the term with E.T., so that's why it's called Level E, is because it's supposed to be like level alien, but he likes to refer to alien as E.T., not as alien.
Got it. Okay. I was wondering about that. Like I wasn't getting where the name came from just yet. So that explains it in a really weird way that doesn't really apply to anything.
Yeah, it explains it as best as it can be explained. So several pieces of merchandise that tie into the anime were released, including CD singles for the opening and closing themes, apparel, and towels. That's what was written down, and towels.
Okay, well, yeah, I'll make sure to get one of those Level E towels sometime.
Yeah. Not even like comics or video games like other mangas or
towels,
anime have. Just towels. Yeah, that's as far as it went.
Okay, well, all right. I'm not going to knock it. Towels are important to have. They get you dry.
If you have some of those cool Level E towels, let us know.
Yeah, I would like to see a Level E towel if anyone's got one.
As long as it has that gross alien monster at the end of the first episode on it.
Nope. That is the biggest
one.
That is the biggest of nopes, Joseph. Oof.
So let's go ahead and jump into the episodes we watched for today's show. The very first episode. Normally we would watch highest rated also, but we couldn't really find a rating on a lot of these. So we just watched a couple random episodes, trying to get a good feel for the show as a whole. So the first episode we watched, though, was An Alien on the Planet, Season 1, Episode 1. The alien invites himself into Yukitaka's apartment and hilarity ensues. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
This guy is going, he has a baseball, not scholarship yet, I guess, because he's just going to high school, right? I'm not sure how it worked exactly.
Yeah. So first of all, I'm surprised it took that long for us to get to an anime that partially revolves around baseball, because there's so many that do, and I'm just surprised that this is the first one we finally got that had anything to do with baseball. I gotta say though, I really like the intro to this show. Not just the music, but the colors and how it's animated is really amazing.
The music was really subtle too, not loud or over the top or anything. It was just a really cool tune to it. I really enjoyed that.
But also has nothing to do with the show at all, you know?
Anime intros and especially outros rarely do. They highlight some weird things, and the outros are always some kind of either really sad or really romantic thing that might have nothing at all to do with the show.
Yeah, the intro is very much always really actiony with very fast-paced music and stuff. And usually the outros are more like a little bit quieter music, not in this case, but usually that's the case. And then also just pictures of people looking off into the distance.
Or cherry blossom trees just shedding leaves. Exactly. That's it.
Yep.
So this kid is going off to baseball high school with he's going to join the baseball team. He's really excited about it. And he is in this high school, I guess, that he's going to, he has to move to his own apartment. And when he walks into his apartment, he sees this just blonde dude just chilling on his dining room table, I think reading something.
He's just reading a book.
Yeah, and he's like, what are you doing in here?
He's just like, oh, I just, changed these clothes and started unpacking things.
Yeah.
And he's just like, well, what are you even here?
Because he thought his mom had started unpacking his things, and he sees this guy. He's like, oh, yeah, I started unpacking things. He's like, yeah, but it's not even your apartment. Why are you here? It's like, oh, I'm your roommate now, I guess. It's like, I don't have a roommate. His over-the-topness was really funny to me, like how angry the kid was getting at Prince Baka, who we find out that's who this is. I don't know if we learn his name in this episode, but that's who this is.
No, they don't say his name until the third episode, I think. Or maybe like into the second episode, something like that. Oh, yeah, into the second episode. I remember the thing I wanted to say earlier is that, like, yeah, for whatever reason, like, this guy's a freshman in high school, but, like, all these high schoolers are getting their own apartments and stuff. And, like, I'm just kind of thinking, like, could you imagine if high schoolers from the United States got their own apartments and stuff they were in charge of? That would be a horrible idea.
Oh, yeah. I remember myself, especially as a freshman in high school, there's no way I would have the mental capacity to have been able to handle that.
Yeah, there's no way. And I wouldn't trust any of them that age to handle it either, No,
absolutely not. This is pretty much a chill episode for the most part. We find out that he's got a cute neighbor girl, of course, and her father is someone who researches aliens, because Baka is telling this kid that he is an alien, like he just needs a place to stay or whatever. He just came to his planet. He's lost his memory or something, or he has amnesia. And he's like, he doesn't believe him, obviously. And he's like, look, like I landed here. He sees on the news about the alien craft that landed nearby. And he's like, yeah, that's mine. And he shows him this like thing that looks like a GameCube controller, kind of.
Yeah.
It's like the controller for his spaceship. And so he starts just pressing buttons on it and the ship explodes. And he's like, see, I told you, it's my ship. And he's like, oh my God, like, I think I just killed people. And so he's really concerned about that.
Yeah. And the prince is like leaning real into it. He's like, yeah, you probably just killed tons of like people.
There's
like,
no telling how many people you killed with that blast.
Yeah, no way they escaped that. Man, there's a lot of that. Of like, I had trouble figuring out how to like address my feelings for the prince, especially in like these first two episodes when we don't really know like all of like what's really going on, and it's like he's constantly saying and doing like really weird things, and then every moment that you think he's being sincere about something, it's all just an elaborate prank, and that kept driving me nuts. I'm like, oh, come on.
Yeah, what you learn about the prince pretty quickly, maybe not in this episode, you can't really get a good read on him yet. But what you learn about him in the later episodes is that he is mainly there, like he's super smart, but he uses that to torment people and kind of for his enjoyment, just to see people squirm, basically.
So we just came to the realization, like while we're recording this, that we pretty much didn't watch any of the same episodes except the first one.
Yeah.
So I think this is what we'll do. I think what we can do is give like a real quick recap of each of those episodes. And then we can kind of overall just kind of discuss how we feel about all this stuff.
I like that. Yeah. Let's speed run through some of these episodes.
Okay.
Because I can tell you a lot about the fourth episode and the seventh episode. And apparently you can tell me a lot about the second and third one also.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. So we'll have the first 4 episodes covered, and then we're going to jump to the 7th randomly.
Yeah, there we go. So, well, like in this first episode, it's like I just can't get a read on the prince, and neither can our main character here, Yukitaka. And it's like, there's a lot of like funny moments and stuff, but there's a lot of weird stuff. Like, one thing I like when he's like, prove me you're an alien. They just touched fingers together, and he's like, it worked for E.T. And I thought that was really funny. There was parts in here that like that. I'm like, okay, he's just going to be a fun, quirky guy. But then there was like once Miho showed up and they had a discussion and left, and he brought out those puppets. Like, what the? What was going on with those puppets, man?
Yeah, it was like they were weird, like puppets of him, but made to kind of look like them. And he was just tormenting Yukitaka when he's telling him that he killed people with that explosion, because he luckily finds out that no one died, no one got hurt. And he's really relieved over that. But then he's like, okay, well, now you really have to leave because you have nothing on me. So go. and he ends up letting him stay like a day. After he gets back from school, he finds out that he's gone, and he doesn't really know where he went at first.
He's just kind of like hiding because these guys show up at some point at the apartment. Yeah, they're like, have you seen this guy? He's dangerous. He's a murderer. So Yukitaka's like, what is going on here? Prince guy, I just referred to him as blonde guy till we knew his name. Blonde guy. He kind of just keeps reappearing. Like when you think he's not there, he just kind of almost like teleports in somehow.
Yeah, even after Yukitaka locks the door, he just appears behind him somehow.
Right. Which that's kind of fun. But like he sees something on TV and he's like, I have to get this back. And he like jumps off of the ledge of this, like, they're in an apartment, but like on the 5th story, he just jumps off, lands that, but then immediately gets hit by a car, which
that's right.
That was kind of funny. And Yukitaka's like, oh no. And like goes out to help him and stuff. Won't bring him to an apartment, sees that his blood is blue. So he's like, okay, this guy really is an alien. And he had a cat with him. And he kind of sat down by a tree and healed the cat and healed himself, which was pretty cool. That cat comes into play for sure in the 3rd episode, and I'll definitely bring that up once we get to that.
Okay, real quick to wrap up the 1st episode, then I have a question that might be answered in the next episode. I don't know. But at the end of the 1st episode, we see like he's trying to gain Yukitaka's trust more, and he's like, all right, I'm going to show you my true form. And he turns into some weird thing that looks like a pig in a blanket. If it had the little like alien tongue thing, it's just like shooting out of that weird like roll shaped body and screaming. And it's so disgusting and disturbing looking. It's like bad CG too. So it makes it even worse.
That's like, the whole time. And
but then now knowing what I know about how much of a prankster Baka is, I'm wondering, was that his true form or was he just messing with them? Because that's not answered in the first episode.
So I can tell you, like, right at the beginning of the 2nd episode, he reveals that he's just screwing with them. And he's like, no, that's just a pet of mine. Like, but you should have seen your face.
That was my face too, because I was like, oh my God, this guy's horrifying.
Okay, so there's this one thing that happens right afterwards, though. Like Yukitaka gets mad. He goes to bed. The door of Yukitaka's bedroom opens just slightly at one point, and one of the puppets is at the door and is just like, hey, are there any girls you like? And Yukitaka's like, go away. And that's it. But like you don't see any of the puppets again in the other 2 episodes, let alone like sentient. So I don't know what that was about. That was weird.
That describes a lot of this show, actually, is just random, strange things. It was weird for me because, I mean, the episodes I watched at least didn't seem to have like a through line to it. I didn't really know what Prince Baka's goal was aside from just to mess with people.
I think that's his goal. And I'll explain in these the quickest descriptions I can do for episodes 2 and 3 here. All right. So we see in episode 2, we see some more aliens land, and they walk out of the spaceship. And they look like these big, weird purple lobster praying mantises, but those are just their spacesuits, and they take the helmets off and they look just like people. And this is where we get introduced to Kraft, Sato, and Colin, who we find out are looking for the blonde dude. We don't really know why at first. And also in the midst of this, as they go and they talk to somebody else in another place trying to find out where blonde guy is. And they talk to this older man who apparently is a member of another race of aliens called the Discunian, or I think Discunian. I don't know. And then these 3 guys are the same race as Prince Baka. And it turns out that the Earth is kind of not like a territory belonging to these other aliens, but it's a territory that they're at. These 2 races have been at war in the past, and I guess are kind of like maybe not on the steadiest of terms. But this dude's like, hey, you know what? We're peaceful here. So like, as long as I don't know the guy you're looking for, but as long as you keep him under control, like we're not going to have any problems with you. And they're just like, oh crap, because they know this guy, and they're like, that's not good. So Miho immediately, like next time she talks to Yukitaka, is like, oh hey, your friend's an alien, right? Like like it's just like she's not any kind of like surprised. She brings it up with like no evidence. She's just like, oh yeah, he's an alien. Like my dad works with stuff like that, you know, it's a thing. Yeah, I'll help you hide him and keep him a secret so no one comes after him, despite it being part of my dad's work and things. But Prince Baka disappears. They're looking for him also, so no one can find him. But Miho and Yukitaka find him at a cafe later, and they're like super angry at him for like just kind of disappearing and stuff. What I liked was Yukitaka walks in and just freaking drop kicks him in the face, like in the middle of this cafe, and is like yelling and scolding him. And he's like doing this really long monologue about like, I'm going to tell you a story and I want you to tell me if this person did the right thing. And he's telling the story about like this guy who runs across a few thugs, and these thugs are harassing this woman. And at first he wants to ignore it, but he decides he can't. And he steps in to like fight off the thugs and stuff like that. And he's like, did I do the right thing? And they're like, well, yeah, like you're a hero. You did the right thing. He's like, oh, cool. And then he pulls the body of the thug that he killed out from this dumpster outside the cafe. And they're like, what did you do? So he just like casually murdered this guy. So, oh God, he is a murderer.
I feel like that was shown in one of the later episodes, just that one scene of some dead dude in a dumpster.
Yes.
And I was like, what is that? What's that from?
So that's where that came from.
There it is. It was brought back.
So they get back to Yukitaka's apartment, him and Miho and Prince Baka, who we don't know is Prince Baka yet. And Miho's like, we are so screwed. And then the three other guys show up. They've been looking for Baka, Kraft, Sato, and Colin. And that's when they revealed that they were supposed to like protect him like they're Prince Baka's men. None of them like him because he's a jerk. And they even say so, like he's horrible to his own people. Like he just gets off on like torturing his own subjects and making life hell for everybody. But we're still like his guards. So we're doing this even though we don't want to. The whole time, Prince Baka is under this thing of saying he has amnesia. He doesn't remember anything, all that good stuff, right? And so he's just like, oh, I don't remember who you are. And they're like, you're the prince. And they're kind of explaining a little bit about what's going on. And then they're like, as long as you stay out of trouble. Because they were on their way to a conference that kind of reminds me of the Republic from the Star Wars prequels. They show a giant room with all these like representatives of all these aliens and stuff like that. So they're like, okay, well, there's like Discunians or whatever here. We need to be careful. Our race isn't supposed to be here, and they're very protective of Earthlings. And then they're like, you haven't done anything. And they're like, well, we did. I did kill this guy. And he brings the body in, and they're like, oh God, it's a Discunian. And which means that he basically started a war.
Oh, man.
But at the very end of that episode, its eyes move and look over, and that's where the episode ends, like the dead body. So cue the next episode.
Well, real quick, what was the name of the second episode? Run After the Man is what it's called?
Yeah, that's what it's called. So the episode after that, Risky Game. So like, I'm glad that I actually ended up watching these first three episodes because there's kind of a cap at the end of this third episode that it's very much like, okay, this is going to go into a totally different act now within the show, but I'll explain. So at the beginning of this episode, that Discunian or whatever, he's not dead. He jumps up. He's like this creepy zombie looking dude with like red eyes, and he can make this like really high pitched screaming, whistling noise. Wasn't a fan of that noise. That wasn't fun. He's talking about how like you've just started a war. You have no idea what you're doing. All that good stuff. Discunian runs off. The older man, that was a Discunian that the three guys had talked to in the previous episode, contacts them and is just like, here's the thing. You struck against our people. We told you not to. We're coming for you. Like, we're going to take the prince. And well, they didn't say Prince. They still didn't know who it was, but they didn't care who it was. They're like, whoever like fought against us, we are going to kill them. And so like, this is really creepy. All of these Discunians are like outside of the apartment complex, like surrounding it, and they're colored like almost a little bit darker, almost like a bluish grayish color than normal, and their eyes turn red, and they're just staring at the apartment complex and stuff, and it's really creepy. And my favorite character of this whole series, Kraft, who's just so tired of Prince Baka's garbage. It's just like, hey, I heard that if you know, because I mean, Baka crashed and he's assuming that's how he got his amnesia. He's like, I heard if you hit someone in the head with equal forces when they lost their memory, they can get it back. And Baka's like, you just want to beat on me. And he's like, yeah. And just starts beating the crap out of Prince Baka, knocks him out. Like, dude is just out. And like, he's not just doing that. He's doing like combo kicks, like Street Fighter 2 Turbo style, and like pile driving him on the floor and like all kinds of stuff. It's really funny. In the meantime, they find an artifact lying around that Colin's trying to like decrypt, but he sees this message on there. It's like, if you read this, you will die. And it's very like morbid looking and like, this isn't good, but they're trying to find any kind of data that they can use against the Skunians to like get them out of the situation and save them. The one thing they know is the Discunians are really protective of Earthlings. So they think, okay, if we pretend that we're holding Yukitaka and Miho as prisoners, like as captives, maybe we can get out of here because they wouldn't cause any harm to us. So all the Discunians like literally break through the walls into the apartment and stuff and surround them. And they're talking about how like they're here to kill, you know, the guy. But then Kraft starts laughing and he says something and he's just like basically like, all right, we figured it out. The jig's up, because Colin had gotten into the data and found out what it really was. It was an electronic journal that Prince Baka had been keeping, and he hired all of these people. He hired the Discunians and everything to do this elaborate thing to quote unquote see how loyal his men were. If he started a war, would they actually defend him?
Oh my gosh.
The Discunians weren't actually gonna fight against them. Like he had hired them, paid them. They were also really big baseball fans, so they wanted Yukitaka's autographs, which Baka agreed to get them if they like did this for him. So like all of this stuff was just every single thing he did in the first 3 episodes was all part of this. He was almost making like a reality show kind of thing, because he had hidden cameras places. There was a parrot that kept showing up in the first episode that was kind of weird and not explained.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
That parrot was actually a hidden camera.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so then we stop seeing the parrot once he finds the cat. That cat was his second hidden camera. So he had like a little camera on top of the cat's head, recording everything. And like, it plays back like almost like an MTV kind of thing where like when Miho first shows up, you see like a still image of her and like you see that he types commentary over her. It's like, wow, so check out
a
this
reality show.
Yeah, it's like, check out this, and then it's censored, like it has some sort of weird scribble kind of thing, and it says female. And she's like, what is that supposed to mean? Like, she's getting super mad about it and stuff. Even Miho's dad is in on it, because the people they thought were cops looking for him, Prince Baka had gone and met Miho's dad and was like, hey, you like alien stuff. I'm an alien. He's like, you want to help me with this like fun prank thing? And he's like, sure, like I want to work with an alien. I'll send 2 guys over just to spook them a little bit. It'll be fun. So like,
oh, so it's all been part of that scheme.
Everything was part of a scheme just to screw with his 3 like guardian people, and like Miho and Yukitaka were all just like pawns in the entire thing. So couple months pass, they're all gone, they all leave. Yukitaka and Miho are kind of just chilling. I'm sensing there's gonna be some romance maybe at some point. Like the wall between their apartments had been broken, so they just have this little flap that opens so they can just like pop into each other's place and say hey. they're just kind of hanging out and stuff like that, and then they get like a letter. It's from Prince Baka, and basically he got to that council with all of those or that conference with all of the different representary like aliens and stuff like that, and his race was gonna take over for the Discunians and kind of be protectors of Earth, and with him in charge. And they're like, no. And then it said the end. So I'm guessing it was kind of like capping that this was like
okay.
the first arc of this thing. So yeah, there we go.
All right. Well, let me try to wrap mine up very quickly then, because they are definitely different than that. So the first one that I watched was episode 4, From the Darkness. And it was the first short description: 4 high school boys see someone from their school devour a girl.
Oh.
They want to know who it is so they can steer clear of the monster. When the boys begin disappearing one by one, the remaining boys decide it's time to get professional help. So this one was a very dark episode, and there wasn't really any comedy bits to it.
Wow.
So basically, yeah, these 4 boys are playing cards in this like abandoned barn or something, and they see outside the window, they see this like girl walk in to the barn and just collapse on the ground. Then they see like one of their classmates who's kind of hidden by darkness and wearing a hat, drag her out and then literally like bite into her arm.
Oh, geez.
And apparently, like when we cut to the next scene, like they're talking about what just happened, and I guess he sucked her veins dry of blood, ate her corpse and her bones.
Oh my God.
Yeah, isn't that way different? So they end up going to this hippie guy named Ungo, and they're like, you know, what do we do? Like, how do we know, like, you have weird connections. Who can we get to help us avoid this guy or catch this guy or something? We don't know exactly who it is, but we know it's one of our classmates. We've narrowed it down to one of 3 people. And so he sends in this other guy, this doctor who's part of like a hospital. It's about to be shut down. And he's like, okay, when you go there, tell them you want to take the E course. And so they go and they see ABC course on there, and they tell the receptionist, okay, we want to take the E course. She's like, all right, one moment. And so like she sends him back to this doctor guy, and he's like, all right, so this is going to cost you X amount of money. If you want to avoid the problem, just stay away from the suspect. And they're like, no, we know that. We need more than that, though. And they're like, okay, well, for investigation, it's going to be 1.5 million yen, and then so many yen after that per day or whatever. They initially decline that, but then he tells them about his old assistant that went missing in doing one of these research jobs. And then his assistant was found without a head, was covered in some kind of unknown bacteria. And he's explaining all this to them. So they go back and like they're still questioning whether they should give him money or not. They come back to this place with their parents, like a bunch of their parents' rings, like, you know, just rings with diamonds in them and stuff, to pay off this guy. And so he sends them to this room in the hospital and like locks the door behind them. They find some of their other friends in there, like, oh my God, that's where you guys were this whole time. Like, you've just been in here too. Like, yeah, we needed some help with this. So while they thought that they had been like eaten or something, or had, or were just missing, they had been locked in this room too. Nothing like nefarious is happening there. It's just this guy trying to make a little bit more money off these kids. But he is serious about going to hunt down this alien. We find out like who the kid is out of the 3 suspects there were, who the actual alien one is. Like the doctor comes back and he tells them, okay, I found out who it is. I captured his little brother and hypnotized him. And he's telling me all these things about his alien race and what's happening. So apparently they come from the planet Kanwa, and they came here because of a civil war on their planet, and it exploded. On their planet, the males must eat the females to breed.
Oh, geez. Okay.
And so they feel like an unstoppable urge to eat females they're attracted to. It doesn't work the same way with human females as far as like the breeding part goes. Like they can't reproduce, but they still feel, when they're attracted to girls, they still feel the urge to just devour them, and they can't control it as much as they want to. And like you hear like this little kid, while he's, hypnotized, he starts getting real upset and almost crying, because he's like, there's this girl I'm attracted to, and I don't want that to happen to her. And, my dad said that he wished our kind never existed. And it was really dramatic. They're almost, victims of their own urges to an extreme extent, and this is what had happened earlier. This kid like is attracted to that girl, and he ends up eating her, and a couple other girls over the course of the episode we see get eaten by him. He doesn't want to do it. It just ends up happening. He's even like crying when he's doing it at one point, and like it ends up being like a super dramatic kind of like frightening episode where you kind of feel for him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're like, but you're still kind of a monster.
That is horribly dark. Holy crap.
Right? It's very dark. It's like the tragic part of it is like the males develop romantic feelings for these girls before they devour them. Their hearts are there, but then they end up having to eat the things they love. And that's a really like tragic ending to it. But then we find out that this whole thing was Baka pitching a show about aliens to a network.
Oh my God.
I know. I wanted to lead up to it the way that I felt about it until I saw the end of it. And then it's like, oh my God, really? This whole thing was just another prank, not even a prank, just him pitching a dramatic show into the network. And they're just like, nah, we can do without it. And that's pretty much how that episode wraps up. But I thought it led me down such a dark path. And then the last 2 minutes of it were just that reveal. And I'm like, oh my God, I fell for that so hard because it played it so straight and then completely dropped that bomb on me.
I have some comments, but I'm going to save it for the end. I'm going to let you talk about the 7th one first.
So the next one I watched was Game Over, or it's like Game Over! ! Question mark. Season 1, episode 7. The Demon King has reprogrammed the monsters, making it too dangerous for the Color Rangers and Baka to stay. Unfortunately, the game console and the only spaceship on the planet are in the Demon King's castle, which is guarded by a horde of monsters. So, a little explanation. So, the Color Rangers are basically the Power Rangers.
I was hoping for that.
Yeah, but the twist to that is that Baka kidnapped 5 kids against their will and basically is forcing them to become these Power Rangers, also against their will. They don't want to do it. He's just making them do it for his own entertainment.
Oh,
and then he has put them inside this video game world that is very much like Dragon Quest. Like it is, if you ever played Dragon Quest, it's very much like the old school Dragon Quest. They even open the episode with kind of what looks like an 8-bit versions of them kind of walking down a path. Yeah, so it's like an RPG world that Baka has created. It goes into, normal animation and you're seeing the kids react normally, but they are the whole time inside of a video game system. What's happening is this place is called Cavalry. And so the prince has transported the kids there. They go into this room. They go into the castle, the throne room where the king is. And the king is kind of giving them this quest. And the kids are commenting on it. And they're just like, yeah, we're like middle school kids. Why are you trusting us so quickly and giving us this quest? And the king just keeps talking because he's just been programmed this way. And so he's like, you have to rescue my daughter. General Luch, who is this like first in command under the Demon King or something. He wants to marry the princess and I need you to stop him because he's going to take my daughter away from me and whatever. And then we see the princess revealed. And it's like a dramatic reveal at first, and then she comes out, and it ends up being Baka kind of cross-dressed, and he's using like a girl's voice.
I kind of thought about that because I've seen images of this show where I see a woman that looks suspiciously like Baka, and I was wondering if he was going to be doing that. So that I'm like, okay, yep, that was it.
Yeah. So this is at least one spot where he does that, and this whole time, really, he's dressed up as this princess and even kind of looks like a girl. He just has like his voice just trying to make it a little higher pitched. And so the kids are like complaining like, oh, you're tricking us like this. Just send us back to Earth, please. And he's like, I can't control it now. Like the scenario is under the Demon King and we literally have to resolve this quest or else we are stuck here forever. They're just like, oh my God. All right, fine. We'll do it. And he's like, okay, what level are you guys? Because they're in a video game. They're like, between 35 and 70. And he's like, okay, well, General Luch is level 1,300. And they just start freaking out. They're like, oh my God, we're going to die. He's like, okay, well, don't worry. Like he's on his way, but he's not programmed to fight you right away. So be tough, act tough. Maybe we can scare him off. The General Luch comes in and he's just like this big ominous demon guy. And he's trying to get the princess or doing his little monologue. And the kids start trying to act tough at him. Then he slashes against the wall to show them how powerful he is. And the kids are like, I thought he wasn't going to attack. And she's like, well, I guess the AI's been reset. Like, I don't have control over it anymore. So it's just like concern keeps rising. And these kids they're not even transformed yet, but they eventually transform into the Color Rangers. it's kind of like a Sailor Moon animation where they just start like spinning around and they say all these phrases. I can't even, like, one of them is like, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck? And he turns into like the Yellow Ranger or something. It's just ridiculous the whole time and hilarious. They use all these puns. Baka ends up going with the Demon King, and he's like, or not the Demon King, with General Luch. And he's like, all right, I'm hoping if we just play this through, you guys can come and rescue me and it'll all be fixed up. And then when they get to the Demon King's castle, so the princess is Baka, Princess Baka, I'm just going to call him Princess Baka for now, is like talking to the kids on a communicator, and they're like concerned. They're like, well, aren't you worried you're talking to us when General Luch is right there in the room with you? And she's like, oh, no, don't worry about it. He's studying up on how to treat a lady. And then he walks in like very like squeamishly, and he's like, pardon me, princess, but are you normal down there? And he's just like, well, let's just say I have quite a surprise waiting for you.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah. And he's just like, one moment, please. And he goes back to keep reading up on how to treat a lady. And that happens a few times where he'll come back and forth. He eventually is like, I have become very well versed in lovemaking. We have to do this. And that's when it cuts to like Baka like riding away on some weird like floating skateboard thing. The kid's like, how'd you get away? And like, he doesn't want to tell the kids. He's like, I'll tell you when you're older. But the narrator tells us that he was doing a bedroom role play where the teacher asks a student to stay after class and then promptly forgets about him. And then so we cut back to General Luch like sitting there like he's in a classroom at a desk and just like waiting on the teacher to come in.
Oh,
and
no.
so he just escaped. And kind of to wrap it up a little bit, like the Demon King apparently has no, like they don't know the true form of the Demon King. He can take on any form that he wants to. They start going to the top of this pyramid to escape, but then they see this horde of monsters running after them all. And the Demon King is at the helm of it. And then we see this little kid, this like young version of Baka walk up. It's like Baka as a kid walking up these stairs to come and get them. And they're just like really frightened because it's the Demon King. And the Demon King explains to them, he's like, I'm not evil. Like, I don't have a purpose. Right now, I just want peace. And I want you, all that I ask of you is that you leave the video game on so I can survive and make this kingdom strive. Like, I don't want to capture you. I don't want you to stay here. And they're just like, did you forget to they were talking to Baka, did you forget to program him to have any kind of like goal or mission? He's like, oh, it's a long story. I guess I did. And so so it's like this little Demon King, young Baka, basically, like he woke up not knowing anything. And so all he wanted to do was learn information. And he learned that Baka derived pleasure from making other people miserable. So he wants a world that's a haven for all monsters and whatever, and a world without war. And he really wants to have a legacy. He wants the Demon King title to be a legacy he can be proud of, and wants the kids to tell him that they believe in him. His main mission is to not be like his creator, Baka, and be a kind, just ruler. Then Baka starts complaining and is like, he's telling him about how he wants them to get stuck in this game. It's meant to draw you in bit by bit until you're completely addicted, and starts to corrupt you and makes you lose faith in humankind. And it starts explaining all these terrible items that are available in the shops, all these super moves that he has. And he's talking about this one that's got a golden power that can crush any enemy, no matter how strong they are. And the kid's like, oh man, well, how do you do that? And he explains it to them, which is if they all point their fingers and say golden hammer, then the fist of justice will unleash its fury. So all of them just point their finger at Baka and they're like, golden hammer. And then this giant gold fist comes up and just punches him out of existence, basically, since it can defeat any enemy. The Color Ranger theme song starts playing, and they're just like, man, that's the nicest evil king I've ever met, talking about the Demon King. Baka comes in like a cab, basically, and transports the kids back to Earth. And that's kind of the end of the episode. That's where it wraps up.
Nice. Such
a strange episode after watching the first one, the fourth one, and then this one. It's just such a departure from everything else.
It's all very weird. I think that's like the one thing that we can say for sure. All of it's weird. It's all very weird.
Well, Chris, it looks like it's about time we let our inner kids be abducted by Prince Baka against their will and transformed into Color Rangers, then see what they thought of the show, Level E.
I am not really sure what was going on through a lot of this cartoon. All I know is Miho is my new girlfriend, and Prince Baka, though he has the right idea of making everyone's life pretty terrible, he could have done a little bit better. But I did give this show 3.5 bowls of screaming slug baby cereal out of 5.
Coming into this show blindly, I wasn't really sure what I was getting myself into. And after watching a few episodes, I'm still not really sure what I got myself into. What first felt like it was going to be a mismatched buddy comedy about an alien trying to fit in on Earth sort of turned into a prank show with that alien at the helm. While Prince Baka was the main character, he was also the primary antagonist. There never seemed to be any ultimate goal for Baka aside from tormenting others, so the show as a whole felt a little disjointed, but the comedy bits really worked for me, in part because I understood and appreciated most of the references. Also, while random, the show was just fun, and I'd take that over a solid plotline any day. Overall, I'd give Level E 4.5 big bowls of Golden Hammer cereal out of 5, and recommend checking this one out, especially for the parodies. I'd absolutely watch a Color Ranger spin-off on its own if I could.
So yeah, I feel like I got a much different experience than you did because yours were all kind of revolving around that one little plot line, and I got a good kind of sample platter of it. And I really enjoyed those other 2 episodes that I watched for different reasons.
Yeah, I wasn't planning on watching more of the show until I realized that I screwed up and watched the wrong episodes. And now that I know like how different some of the other episodes are outside of that first arc, I'm kind of interested now. So I think I honestly do want to watch the rest of it. And there's only maybe 13 episodes total or something.
Yeah, it's just a single short season, just 13 episodes.
Yeah, so there's no reason for me really not to. The only thing is this show, it's a fun show, but it can be infuriating in that once you think you know what's going on, it's probably just going to get thrown out the window by the end of the episode as nothing, which happened to me several times while we were watching this, especially that last episode. But that kind of endeared me to it. I don't know. I have this really love-hate thing with Prince Baka where I think it's just that I love the idea of just how much of a prankster this dude is and so serious about it. But you also hate him. It's a love to hate. You love to hate Prince Baka in this.
Yeah, you understand the other side of the equation where it's oh man, I feel really bad for everybody who has to interact with him because he's unpredictable. He's super intelligent. And he's very powerful. He has weird abilities, so he can do pretty much anything. It's almost like the Twilight Zone episode with the little kid who can control the world, basically.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't want to make him mad because then he's going to really mess up your world. He turned, I think his dad or something into a jack-in-the-box.
Yeah.
It's like that, where he's an all-powerful being, but he doesn't have the maturity to handle that sort of power. And other people around him are the victims of that.
Exactly, which is part of the infuriating part. But I will say this, the episode 1 and 2, I was just gosh, this is just more weird than fun. And I wasn't digging it. I probably would have given it a lesser rating if I hadn't watched episode 3. When I got to the end of episode 3 and figured out what that was, I don't know, to me, that was the culmination of it took 3 episodes for us to introduce Prince Baka to the audience. I think that's kind of what it was.
Yeah.
So that 3rd episode, I'm oh man, all right. Now I get it.
Yeah.
But that was a real long introduction for this character.
And episode 4 was filler that seemed like it was going in a really dark direction with the series. So I was honestly surprised coming from the first one that had so many comedy bits to it because the majority of that episode had none. There was nothing funny really about it. It was all played very seriously until the very end where Baka comes out and you're oh, okay, it was him again. He's still messing with us.
Yeah, I think it's where those first 3 episodes, it's Prince Baka trolling the people he's around. But that 4th episode is really the creators trolling the audience.
Yes, exactly. He's trolling us.
Yeah, he's just okay. It's almost like they're making you feel what all the people around Prince Baka probably feel. They're just, God, just stop pulling stuff over on us. We thought this was something serious.
But it was played really well. The episode I watched, the serious horror one, that was so well done. I could have seen that chaining off into a separate storyline altogether but it's like, oh no, never mind. It was just him pitching a story, but he's a good storyteller. And then the one with the Color Rangers, I loved the inclusion of them. They were hilarious little characters. And so I especially like the idea of them getting kidnapped against their will by Baka and forced to be these Power Rangers, almost like Zordon, like
Exactly.
forced them to become Power Rangers. It's like, that's why I mean, like by the parodies of everything. And then the whole episode being like surrounding the Dragon Quest sort of RPG aesthetic to it. Like that's, again, more parody of that. And it was just all really fun. The episodes I watched, at least, very random compared to the ones you watched that had kind of a plot line. Mine were just all over the place, but I still really enjoyed them.
Yeah, I'm surprised to hear that it kind of left a main theme after that point. But I'm not disappointed in that. Like I'm interested. Like I think that's what would get me interested to watch more of it. Because if it was just going to continue that main thread of him just torturing, Yukitaka and Miho, then I'd be like, I've seen enough. Like those poor people.
Watch the 4th one. Watch the 7th one. I think you'll have a good time with them.
Definitely will do that. Yeah, I saw a picture of the Color Rangers and they look hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
So thank you, Toshen Ranma, for suggesting this. I know some of your suggestions have been weird and potentially to torture us, but this one I actually enjoyed.
Yeah, this was a really cool one. It was super weird. So I mean, you still got that going for you, but it was fun. It was a really fun one.
Weird in a good way. Yes.
Weird in a very good way.
Well, listeners, it looks like our milk supply is now on dry, so it's time for us to say goodbye. And in 2 weeks, we'll be watching
Space Jam, suggested via YouTube by Mike Root.
I knew that was coming because I looked at the list the other day and I was like, wow, Space Jam's at the top. I wonder if it's going to stay there. Sure enough, here we are.
Are you ready to slam, Joseph? Are you ready to slam? Come on and slam if you want a jam.
I'm excited to rewatch it because I haven't seen it since maybe early high school, if that, maybe middle school even.
I don't think I've seen it since it came out, like since we were like kids. I'm really interested to watch it. I don't remember the acting part of it being good at all.
Well, Michael Jordan's he's good at playing himself.
Yeah. But Bill Murray's in it, so that's fun.
Yeah, Bill Murray, Wayne
Knight.
Wayne Knight, yes.
Yeah. And I also really did like, I do remember really liking the Monstars a lot.
Oh, yeah, and Danny DeVito was the head Monstar.
Oh, that's right. And also, like, I remember getting a weird feeling in my body when they introduced Lola Bunny. And I was like,
yeah,
what's happening? You guys know what I'm talking about. Come on, you know.
They know.
Well,
that's cool. I'm looking forward to watching it.
Yeah, I'm ready to slam.
Oh, man. I hope it holds up. I'm a little worried, but...
It probably doesn't, but I think we're going to have a good time even if it doesn't. I think it's just going to make it even funnier.
Yeah, maybe the nostalgia will help it out.
I think it's going to be a good time.
Well, once again, I'm Joseph.
And I'm Chris.
And we'll see you in 2 Saturdays.
Presented by Nerdsloth,
a place for lazy nerds.
If you like what you heard, consider donating at patreon.com/nerdsloth so we can continue bringing you quality shows. Be sure to also leave us a review and share your favorite episodes and clips on social media. If you're looking for more content, visit us at nerdsloth.com.